Alright, so before this video begins, I kind of want to give a little intro on why I'm uploading this older video rather than something that I filmed more recently. This weekend I am going to Spokane, Washington for my cousin's graduation, and along with that I'm bringing the camera and everything so I can go fishing again. And Spokane is where this happened. So I'm hoping to take my kayak and get some awesome video and hopefully catch another muskie. And I'm also going to be fishing in Idaho, so maybe some pike, smallmouth, and some trout. I'm really excited. I'll be up there until Wednesday. So I'm uploading this one this week, and I'm doing another older video next week because some things came up in the past couple days, so I haven't been able to edit the most recent videos because I want to put a lot of time and effort and make them quality, and I've just been kind of busy. So that's why I'm uploading this as kind of like a throwback video, something quick to edit. I have a lot of videos that I filmed that didn't turn out to be a great video. It didn't feel complete, so I never ended up uploading it, but I have a lot of these video files sitting on my computer, so I decided to kind of throw them together and have these nice quick uploads so I don't miss upload weeks. And that's basically the reason I'm doing this, just to kind of get something out while I'm gone, something quick and easy I can get done before I leave. So this video is from the second time that Zach and I went to Eastern Oregon. One of our bigger trips. It was a pretty rough trip, so that's why I didn't film a whole lot, and these files have just been sitting on my computer and I wanted to do something with them, so this is a perfect opportunity. That being said, I hope you enjoy. So we finally made it to Eastern Oregon. It was a pretty hardcore drive, a lot of windy roads, and we were really tired. I left my wallet in Redmond, which was 2 hours past where we were when I realized I left my wallet, so that really sucked. That added probably 2-3 hours onto our drive time. So it ended up being like 2 or 3 in the morning once we got here. We took stuff out that we didn't care getting rained on because it was storming the whole time we came up here. Made a bed in the car and went to bed. So this is actually the first day we've been here. It's been rainy and really windy, so I haven't really filmed a whole lot, which I'm alright with because I didn't want to deal with all that. So it's about 5 o'clock. We're just now getting out fishing. Zach's caught 2 crappie so far. So I'm just out here grabbing a bucket, some knives. We're going to do some cut bait. Gonna go out catfishing. Right now, today, all we're doing is kind of getting the lay of the lake. We've actually never fished here before. So we're gonna see how the catfishing is. We're gonna do some crappie fishing and just kind of relax and get a feel for what we're doing. So yeah, let's get back to fishing. All right, set up, got a slider, 3 weights, swivel, and a chunk of crappie.
You're welcome for the crappie.
It's gonna feel a lot better. Shit. I guess this is the side to fish on.
Yeah. Oops.
Woo! There's catfish on the trip!
Don't step on my pole.
I'm trying to get him out.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Oh. There we go. Woo! First channel.
Yeah.
Look at it. You want to go?
Okay.
More catfish to come.
I'm done.
Boom. Number 2. Alright, well, it's day 2 out here in Huntington, Oregon. Ouch. Last night I didn't film. We were catfishing. We got rained out pretty hard. Didn't want to have the camera out, so. Right now I'm just fishing for crappie. That's pretty much all we've been getting. I got one other channel catfish, but I didn't have my camera, so that's great. But it's been an alright trip, not super productive for fishing. Caught probably 6 crappie altogether. But hopefully it picks up. Try to film as much as I can, but it gets a little boring. Not catching anything and then trying to run a camera at the same time. So. And the mosquitoes suck. So unfortunately, that was it. It was a short video. I think it was like 3 to 4 minutes. I pieced together what I could, did some, I don't know, kind of interesting edits just to do what I could with what I'd filmed. Like I said, it was a rough trip, and I don't mean that lightly. It wasn't just, it was a hard drive, a long drive, a late drive. It was from start to finish. There was a lot of things that went wrong. And actually, our first trip was pretty rough too, but I think our second time was a little, at least for me, a little harder than that first one. So right now I'm going to kind of explain why this trip was so rough, just so I can give more detail of what happened in this trip rather than the small clips that I edited. So like I said, that was our second time going to Eastern Oregon. Our very first time we went to Richland, Oregon. We had no idea where we were going. We just knew we wanted to fish Brownlee Reservoir. So we found a campground in Richland. Later found out that we weren't actually staying on the reservoir. We were staying on a slough of the reservoir because Brownlee Reservoir is the Snake River dammed up into sections. Had no idea. We just kind of went. We went during March, like I said, and it was so cold. I think at night it got down to like 26. It was intense. The trip kind of started off on a bad foot. We loaded everything onto my Xterra. We had firewood up on my rack, and we had our tent and our air mattress strapped up in a bin on top of my Xterra. And we started leaving. We were maybe a half an hour outside of Eugene. So from Eugene to Richland was an 8-hour drive. We got a half an hour outside of Eugene. We realized that the tarp that was covering the wood started to flap a bunch, and we just kind of worried that we didn't tie everything down right. So we pulled over, we strapped everything down well like we thought. We were leaving, and we hear this huge thump from the top of my car, and I hear Zach just say, "Tote's gone." And we look behind us, and the tote holding our tent, sleeping bag, air mattresses, and our stove exploded behind us. It flew off the top of my car, right under the ratchet straps, exploded. We look, there's trucks swerving. We're on I-5, a busy highway, or a busy freeway, and I was just like, that's not a good start. So we pull off and we run and grab everything we can off the freeway. Cars are just swerving out, trying not to hit our stuff or us. So we grab our tents. The tent bed's ripped, but luckily the tent's intact. Our air mattress is torn, but we don't find that out until we get there that night. And our stove is folded in half. So we're only a half an hour out, and the trip is terrible already. So we kind of think, like, do we even go? We have 8 more hours to drive. It is noon. We left at 8, and by the time we were done dealing with this, it was almost 1 o'clock. So we kind of just decided to go. We got there, found out our air mattress was torn. We had to sleep. Pretty much, we slept in my car most of the night, and that was freezing. And then we slept on like a stand for the air mattresses, which was pretty much sleeping on the pegs of a camp chair. And it was just cold, and we only caught perch. I made a video of it. It was like my second video on this channel. I caught 1 channel catfish, and that was it the whole trip. It was rough. Oh, and also the radiator in my Xterra was cracked, and luckily that didn't screw us over, but we did not know that at the time being. But like I said, that trip went smoother than the second one, which is hard to believe. So I'm gonna like really try to tell this story well and quick, so you can get the full scope of how crappy and stressful this turned out to be. So we decided to go on another trip to Eastern Oregon. We really wanted to catch a flathead because that's what we went for the first time, and some big smallmouth, and we wanted to get some better fish. So we decided to go later in the year. We went in June or July, I can't remember exactly. We kind of knew where we wanted to go. We wanted to go for flathead and smallmouth, and we kind of knew a better area to go this time. And we actually wanted to be on Brownlee Reservoir. Again, heading from Eugene. Eugene is on the most western side, pretty much, of Oregon, and we wanted to go all the way over to Huntington, Oregon, which is another about 8.5 hour drive. But we ended up leaving. We had everything packed. We did not pack nearly as much on the top. I don't think we packed anything on top actually this time. It was the first time I was taking this camera on a trip, so we were going around shooting pictures of everything. I was shooting videos of this little festival in Sisters, and then I wanted to stop in Redmond to get a sandwich at the sandwich place. So we stopped. We ate food. It was really good. Got coffee. We drank a lot of coffee on this trip. A little too much. Not enough water. So we end up leaving Redmond, and it's about 2 or 3 o'clock. And we get going, and we drove 2 hours from Redmond, and I realized we pulled off on the side of the road to pee, but then we were just like kind of taking pictures of stuff around, because Eastern Oregon, or towards the east, is really pretty. And so we were taking pictures, and I realized I don't have my wallet. And I can't continue this trip without my wallet. It has my fishing license, has my money, has my ID, has everything. It wasn't going to happen without it. So, like, I had to leave it at the sandwich shop. So we have no service out there, and we pull into this little tiny town where we get like 1 bar of service. And I was able to look up what time that sandwich shop closed, and they closed at 7 o'clock, and it was 6:30. So we found this little, like, sketchy, old vintage hotel, and we were able to use their phone. Luckily, they're open. So I call the sandwich shop and ask them if I left my wallet. Luckily, they say yes, they found it. And they tell us that they are going to leave it at the customer service desk at the Fred Meyers, because they're closing in about like half an hour or 45 minutes or so. So luckily, we found that solution. So we drove all the way from this little town, 2 hours back to Redmond, finally get my wallet, get another coffee, and we continue driving back. By the time we pass that town again, it's dark. So we keep driving, it's getting dark, we're getting tired. It's a really windy, kind of sketchy road. So by the time we're almost to Ontario, which is close to Huntington, I'm almost out of gas, but all the gas stations on the way are all closed. So we don't know what to do. We stop at all these little gas stations in these towns and try like pumping it ourselves or something, but they're all closed for the night. So we're freaking out, kind of felt like we were going to run out of gas at night, and maybe had to sleep in the car in that town. But luckily we had enough gas to get to Ontario. We filled up. We finally got to the campground, and we decided we're not going to pay for this night because it's been kind of bullcrap. So we don't set up camp anything. We just kind of get there and fall asleep. But the whole way up it was thundering and lightning, and we woke up to just pouring rain. So luckily we put only the stuff out that we didn't care about getting wet, like I said in the video. So we wake up and it had rained all day. I decided not to film that first day. We just kind of walked around, fished a little bit, just kind of get the feel of the place. It was kind of gross all day too, and it was raining off and on. Second day was a lot better. I got the camera going. We did some fishing. Only caught a few crappie. We're just still kind of getting used to the area. And I caught 1 channel cat that was like 4 pounds. Nothing exciting, definitely not what we were going for. The third day, it was raining off and on all day. And this is after it said it was going to be 100 degrees. It was like 100 degrees before we got there, and then we get there for a week. We're planning on staying for a week, and it's just like storming weather the whole time we were there. Raining off and on. I didn't barely film because I didn't want to deal with the camera and just the rain. And I just wasn't feeling like we were catching enough to film it. So, like I said, the last day was a couple crappie and a catfish. Next day was still just a couple crappie and a bunch of rain. The mosquitoes were terrible. We did go around, take some really cool pictures with my camera. Here's a few pictures that I took. They turned out fun. It was fun just kind of experimenting with this camera. Zach took a photography class, so he just kind of showed me what to do with time lapses and whatnot. The next day we decided we're going to actually venture out and try to either catch a flathead or some good smallmouth. I had a couple blow-ups on a popper where we were camping, but we decided we want to get away from the dock that's by our campground. So we go into Huntington, actually, the little town, and we fish this other part of Brownlee Reservoir. We went into Ontario and bought some stuff and ate there and did a little fishing around there. But we go into Huntington, we fish around for a little bit, catch a few couple smallmouth. So we decided we're going to go back, we're going to eat, we're going to come back and catfish that night. So we go back that night, we catfish, we don't catch anything. Next day rolls around and this is where it gets rough. So these past 3 days we haven't set up our tent at all. We've been sleeping in my car the whole time because it's just been raining and we didn't want to have to deal with that. So it was finally like what we thought a clear day. So we decided to set up tent. We got our food out. We're just kind of chilling. We're about to make a big lunch and it just starts getting super windy. And all of a sudden we just hear thunder and we see lightning and this huge black cloud rolls in and it's just windy. Stuff is getting blown all over the place and just a huge freaking storm rolled in. I mean, it was crazy. I've never been in a storm like this before. So we get in the tent because it starts pouring, trying to kind of like ride it out, and the tent is blowing and hitting us in the face, and we just hear a loud crack, and then the rain flies off, and just rain is just slopping into the tent. It's soaking our clothes, it's soaking our bedding, it's soaking our food, because we moved all the food in there, so everything was just getting soaked. So we were like, screw it, we got to get out of this tent. So we grab everything, try to shove what we can under my car, in the car, and we're just completely wet. And then we realize that huge crack is our tent pole just snapped because the wind was that intense. And we're just like, oh God, this is bad. So we really didn't know what to do right then, so we decided we're going to have to leave. We're supposed to stay for 2 more days, but I mean, like I said, our clothes were wet, our food was wet, our bedding was wet, we were wet. It was not good. So we talked to the camp guys. They let us refund the last 2 nights, luckily, which was kind of cool. Which sucked, we had to cut our trip short, unfortunately, but we weren't going to be able to do anything more. The storm was probably going to come back. So we were packing up, and I realized that all the tackle I brought, over $100 in tackle, all my, like, I had a little B-roll of it. I had my crappie stuff, my catfish stuff, all my trout lures, a bunch of plastics, some terminal tackle, my eye bobber, just a bunch of things that, like, scents and all this stuff was all shoved in this tackle bag that we took catfishing that last night, and I left it. We were looking all over and I could not find it, and I realized I left it where we were catfishing that night when we left. So we're packing everything up and it's gone. I'm freaking out. We're trying to hurry so I can go see if it's there. We drive back where we're catfishing and it's gone. So I'm just like, my stomach sinks. Everything's wet. Things are broken. I lost over $100 in tackle. We didn't catch many fish at all. I was like, this sucks. So we're like, all right, screw it. Count it as a loss. Let's just go. So we finally go get gas. We got everything packed up. We're leaving. We're driving, and so we're driving about 2 hours, and then I realized that some cop lights are behind me, and noticed that I'm going 90 and a 70. I was wearing my boots while I was driving, so I didn't feel how far I was pushing the pedals down, and I was kind of zoning out because I just wanted to get the hell out of there. So So I pull over, and it's the first time I've ever been pulled over before. And he told me that he clocked me going 90 and a 70. But since it was my first ticket, also I couldn't find my registration. Since it was my first ticket, he was going to give me, it clocked at 89 and not 90, because it would have been $200 more for that ticket, because it would have been considered reckless driving. So, on top of losing $100 in gear, breaking our tent, losing our food, soaking our clothes, having to leave early, not catching a lot of fish, I get pulled over and get a $260 ticket. And we still have a 7-hour drive home. That was the last crap thing, but we finally got home. It was late, and I've never been so stressed out in my life. I just wanted to be done. It bothered me. It still bothers me. It sucked. And it's been like almost a year since that trip. So, yeah, that's why there's not a whole lot of footage in this video, because it was hard. I don't know. We didn't know what we were doing fishing, I guess. I don't know how to catch a flathead catfish, apparently. I didn't get to meet up with the guys that were going to help me. Just not a lot of fishing happened, and a lot of losing money happened. Because those Xterras are not cheap in gas. That was $160 in gas there and back. $260 ticket, $100 lost in tackle, plus damage of tent and other things. So it was just pretty rough. But there's the story behind why that trip kind of blew. Even though I had a lot of fun, it was beautiful. I want to go back really bad. It was just, I suck at traveling apparently. I don't know. I just have a hard time. When I drive east, things go bad. When Zach drives south, things go bad for him. Just want to explain why there wasn't a whole lot of footage. I have another video coming out that is also not a whole lot of footage because the fishing wasn't great. But it's just to get some content out while I'm gone. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed what I pieced together. I hope you enjoyed the story. Laugh at my misery at the time, because it's funny now, or from a different point of view. But with that being said, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, hit the like button, follow me on Instagram, NorthwestFishing18. I haven't posted in a while, but I'm getting a new phone soon. So my phone's been broken for a month, and I'll start posting then. And yeah, that's all I can think about. Hope to catch you and some fish in the next video. Thanks for watching.